Hello, everyone. I know we are now streaming right now, but still we are waiting for uh, the signals to coming up in our domestic platform. So I'm really hoping that you guys can wait for us for a bit, okay? And I hope you guys can hear me because it's already streaming on YouTube, on Facebook, and on Twitter. This is iChongqing, and I have our friends with. I have to say, I really wanted to talk with you guys right in a minute, but I still have to put on this video that was created by our great reporter, Alex. This is the countdown video that I really want to show you guys.
Hello, everybody. So I am James. Fernando, who I know are in the live stream, and also are followers on iChongqing across the world. So big welcome and happy New Year to you all. So I'm at a place, a very famous location in Chongqing called Cityco. Now, Cityco kind of means like porcelain town in Chinese. And actually in the past, particularly around the Qing dynasty, this was a very prosperous area, particularly in the porcelain industry. And the old town is right on the banks of the Jialing River. And of course, a long time in the past, the transport wasn't quite as modern as it is today. So a lot of people depended on river transport during those days. But anyway, as you can see behind me, things have fully opened up. And as I expected, there are lots of people, local people, and also the guests, visitors from out of town here. So I'm really looking forward to taking a walk down the old streets, which I'm very familiar with because I've been in Chongqing. Well, I came to Chongqing almost 20 years ago, so I've seen a lot of the differences that have taken place here. And when I arrived here this morning, I saw like one huge difference that's completely took me by surprise.
Sorry, what?
And this street or this square now that I'm standing on. For years and years, this was a major road, and whenever you came to Cityco, you would have trucks, buses, cars, taxis, just roaring down this road. Yeah, but I came here this morning, and it's completely changed. Yeah, so now we've got this beautiful pedestrian street, and behind me, got the entrance to Cityco. Okay, so in a few moments, I'm going to take a walk down that street. And maybe if you're watching, you can come with me. As for like New Year's resolutions, I'll just tell you a little bit about my personal philosophy about that. So, of course, I've known about New Year's resolutions. I mean, I've heard about them for 30 plus years now, because I'm kind of into my 40s nowadays. Yeah, so for me, they're kind of a bit like a cliche, and in my experience, people kind of say the same things. Whether it's this year, I'm going to get a gym membership and I work out 3 times a week for the next year. Or maybe I'm going to quit, smoking or drinking or something like that.
I'm sorry, James.
When it comes down to reality, it's kind of a bit difficult to really stick to them over a year. So for me personally, every day, when you wake up in the morning, you kind of have a set goal that's kind of achievable for you. And then maybe, some longer term things that maybe you will try to achieve. But I suppose this year, if I had to give you some New Year's resolutions, then it would be, I'm just going to keep learning, going to maybe try and improve, editing skills, photography, things like that. And also, I would really like to kind of get my weight back under 80 kilograms. So that's something I'm going to be working pretty hard on. But anyway, so we've got Alex and Fernando in the background there. Like I said, I can't actually hear what's going on in the studio live. So if you have any questions for me, anything you want me to talk about, maybe you can just send a message. And when I'm back, I'll answer that for you and tell you what's going on. But anyway, hello to you all, and welcome to watch this live stream. And just keep following me as I walk through the old streets of Cityco. Thank you.
Thank you, James. Thank you for the great opening for our show today, and also thanks for Alex. Great video on the countdown to show us, presenting us this fascinating content in China and also in Chongqing. We are gonna say this year has been a really, really long journey for us today in China. So I'm sorry, I'm gonna mute you guys and talk with you later, okay? Today in Chongqing, China is the end of this year. For as far as I know until today, many people seems really relieved when knowing that this year is gonna be the ending. Yeah, it's gonna end. So there has been some really important events happening globally this year. The Beijing Winter Olympics, the airplane crash in China, the economic collapse in Japan and the UK, the war between Russia and Ukraine, the energy crisis caused by the war, the global climate change caused frequent fires and floods, and record-breaking high temperatures has been recorded in many places. And the Queen of England passed, and the FIFA World Cup in Qatar, etc. But in China, we are facing the challenging of fighting the COVID-19. 3 years into the COVID-19 pandemic, China has loosened restrictions recently to further optimize its response, with its policies on testing, quarantine, and travel adjusted. For example, PCR tests are no longer required when entering most public venues. Patients with mild COVID-19 symptoms can now undergo home quarantine, and non-high risk areas must not impose travel restrictions or suspend business. Also, the national border is reopening gradually recently. So this is all huge for us. We can see the vibrant vibes and energy are returning in this country, and we know there are so many people devoting their career and lives into helping each other and recreate the society for us. This is something that I'm always grateful for, and we can talk about it later because I know many of us, especially those content creators, they have more to say because they are deeply rebounding and reporting on this topic all the time. So before we dive into the New Year's resolution part, I want to know, how would you describe your 2022? Like, if you are only allowed to use a word, one word, or a phrase to define this year, what will it be and why? So I'm gonna start with our friend Fernando. Okay,
Sound check. Can you guys hear me?
we can hear you loud and clear.
Excellent.
Okay.
Okay, first of all, let me introduce where I am. I am traveling now in Yunnan, and I've come to a city in the south, the central area, but in the south of Yunnan. And I'm on my way to a place called Pu'er. I'll be heading there tomorrow. So I'm staying here in this very beautiful pagoda. Let me show you right here. It's a beautiful tower. And this is in the middle of a residential area. There's people who live here, and we're staying in our RV park somewhere over there. So I'm gonna walk with you and tell you what you were asking me, the answer to your question. For me, I think 2022 was about change. I've said it in other videos before. If I look back 12 months before, I was doing something completely different. I was managing my language training centers, and I was handling people. I was worried about overheads. I was concerned about my customers. But in the end, I made the decision to close my business and start this new project, which is Are We There Yet? The YouTube channel, where me and my wife, who's on the camera, you cannot see her, we are traveling around China in an RV, and we are shooting content and making content and trying to put together sort of like a documentary so that we can present it as a present to China in 2024. In 2024, October 1st, China will celebrate its 75th anniversary. So that's the present that me and my wife are working on creating. So that's where we are. This year has been a learning experience because I've never done RV live before. There's many places in China that I've never been to. And traveling with COVID was extremely challenging. to say the least. So if you're talking about people being relieved by these optimized COVID protection measures, I'll raise a hand first. It was really challenging. We were static for quite a long time, almost a quarter of the year because of COVID. So now that these restrictions are over, we're going to be able to move about more freely. So yeah, the word for me would be change, Aiko.
Okay.
Change. So thank you for asking, and back to you guys in studio, and I'll answer your questions next.
Thank you, Fernando. What about you, Alex? So you're now, where are you now? Where are you?
How are we doing?
Hi.
Let's see. Can we do a sound check? How are we doing?
You're doing great. We can hear you
Great.
loud and clear.
All right. Fantastic. Um, I think the word of the year here for me is going to be responsibility, and not just for myself about being responsible, but I think 2022 showed us what nations were responsible and what nations were irresponsible. And currently, right now, I'm at it's called the Rink here at the IFS in Jiangbei in Chongqing. The rink is open. My wife is skating around there somewhere in the background. Um, yeah, she's floating around there. But no, this year was really full of challenges, of course, as what Fernando was talking about. But really, responsibility in responsibility to keep people safe, responsibility to keep people from not getting infected, responsibility from actually keeping people alive. And that is something that I really noticed here in China, being here over a year now, that the government did not listen to the other 186 countries that had failed policies, and it stayed determined and it stayed responsible to its citizens. And that proved a lot to me here, living in China, that, okay, I get it. I'm in a safe country, not only from a security standpoint, but also from a health standpoint. Now, of course, we are coming out of this. It's new challenges ahead, of course, for 2023. But I have to say, and I think Fernando and James probably agrees with me on this here, that the 3 years of these measures has helped, at least from a standpoint, to soften the landing on what could have been, if we go all the way back, what other nations experienced in early 2020, seen on our documentary this year. It could have been absolutely devastating. But that word responsibility comes to mind here, especially when it comes to the leaders. And yeah, that's the tone I'm going to take. Going into 2023 will be more of prosperity. But that's it for me, Aiko.
Thank you, Alex. So we have been receiving comments every minute, and somebody's asking, Mark is asking, is Alex going to showing us his skiing skills? I think probably he will. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, no problem.
And okay, so and I know Alex went there just to show us the city is coming back. The energy is coming back to the city. You can see people there. There are many, but they are there to enjoy. Oh, hi, Julia. Hi. So enjoying this really vibrant vibes in the city in Chongqing. So I'm gonna heading back to James, who is now in Sichiko. Hi, James. Hi, James. Can you hear?
So, hello, Echo. I
Yeah.
still have the same issue. I can't actually hear what's going on in the studio. So if you have a particular question for me, maybe you could put it in a message, because I can see the streaming on live. But anyway, I hope you can see from where I am at the moment. Today, everywhere is open, and I'm actually quite pleasantly surprised by the amount of people that you can find out here today. So everyone is looking very happy. All of these stores are open, and they're all beckoning me to go inside. And
Okay.
as you can see, yeah, we've got like a really good mixture of things here. So, of course, here we have a lot of famous Chongqing brands and also snacks. So, for example, over here we've got the Chongqing hot pot condiments. So, if you love spicy food so much that you want to eat it at home, then this is definitely the place for you. Then we've got like the kind of like the beef jerky. This is a popular brand, you know, the Jiangfei beef. And over here, lots of other snacks, tofu, condiments for other dishes, like the soup hot pot or the chicken duck hot pot and things like that. Then also as well, we've got the hemp biscuits. Yeah, so these are very popular over here in Chongqing. So if you come to a place like Tsuchiko, you can find plenty of things like this. Okay, so in fact, I'm just going to put myself back on camera. If you just
Okay.
give me a few moments so everybody can
Okay.
see me. Okay.
Okay.
But like you said, if got a question for me, then maybe if you could just put it in the chat for me, then
Okay.
I'll definitely enter that for you. But
Okay.
yeah, apologies for the sound issue I have at the moment.
Absolutely.
Uh,
Absolutely.
but as you can see, yeah, very lively atmosphere over here. I'm really glad I came. The weather is really nice, and yeah, so I think this is going to be a very nice New Year's for me. If I just add something else for you as well, the way I spend New Year's has like changed a little bit over the years. So of course, in my younger days, it was kind of like a big party. So we'd go out in Leicester with loads of my friends, and we'd come back very late. And of course, when New Year's comes round, we'd all go like crazy and all that. But then I suppose as it gets a little bit older, things tend to like quieten down a little bit. But I do remember like last year when it came to New Year's, we did have a very special occasion. And I think for New Year's, exactly 1 year ago today, me, Alex, and some of the other crew from iChongqing, we went to Raffles and to this great bar upon the I think it's at the 47th floor, something like that. So pretty high, about 250 meters above the ground below. And yeah, that was fantastic. Great atmosphere. You can walk outside, and they've got the perspex, or like the glass flooring, so you can look straight through down to the roadside, a few hundred meters down below. Yeah, and there were loads of people. Sorry about that. Yeah, so New Year's last year was very special. I think like this year, I haven't got anything specific planned. I think it's going to be a little bit quieter. But of course, I'm really looking forward to the year 2023. I suppose you could say the past 2-3 years have been a little bit difficult. But now things have really opened up here in China. We've had the fortune to go to so many places and attend so many events. I mean, we've already been to in the last 2 weeks. Yeah, I've already done like a week's trip around Guizhou. Been to Jinfo Mountain where they have stunning ski slopes. And then also this past week we did another event for the Perception of Chongqing series in Wushan County, and then topped it off with a trip to Hongchuba, which is another fantastic ski resort, well over 2,000 meters above sea level. Yeah, okay. So for the next year, 2023, now things have opened up. I truly believe it's going to be a fantastic year. It's going to be a fantastic year for us. And yeah, it's basically going to have infinite possibilities for us. Yeah, so again, I wish everybody a very happy 2023. And yeah, I'm sure for me, Alex, the rest of the crew at iChongqing, and all of our viewers, it's going to be a great year, I'm sure.
Thank you, James. Thank you. So my next question is, I want to know what's your most impressive or valuable moment this year? Because Alex and Fernando, you are both mentioned about changing the responsibility. So I want to know, what is the moment that you think is the most impressive or valuable for you in this year? Starting from Fernando?
Mine wasn't exactly connected to COVID, but I had a fantastic opportunity to visit a city in Jilin in the north of China, which is very close to North Korea. The city is called Yanbian, if I'm not mistaken. And I was invited to do kind of like a documentary, talking to people on the ground about what democracy is in China. This project hasn't come out yet. It's a video that hasn't been published yet. But what I found really amazing about this project was to see how this Korean ethnic minority culture, everything from the culture, from their language, their clothing, their food, their dance, their music, everything is preserved and at the same time promoted. It was the celebration of the 70th anniversary of founding of the city, and they had a massive, massive celebration. I had the opportunity to sit down and talk to the mayor of Yanbian to talk about the process of democracy, to try to explain to Westerners what is the process like. And that to me was important, not because I didn't know it or not because I didn't understand it, because but the reason why it was important is because the West doesn't really understand this. The West really doesn't know this, and I think it's relevant to show people the different kind of democracy that we have here. So that was the highlight of my year, and that also brought an opportunity because the people that were making this video, they asked me if I could make a video as well, kind of like a TED talk about my experience with COVID over the last 3 years. And I have to tell you, I have never been in a production of this caliber. It was just so incredible. And the message and the music and the B-roll and everything that encompassed that production, it was actually released yesterday. It's just one of the highlights of my year. So, yeah, visiting Jilin and having the opportunity to meet the people who were involved in this project were the highlight of my year, definitely. Unfortunately, you cannot see that yet because it takes a bit of time in post production. But yeah, I feel like I am finally getting in a position where I can become a messenger as well for what we see taking place here in China and for what people should be able to understand uh, outside of China with regards to China. It is it is important to listen to the stories that come from China, to the people that are here in China, the voices that are out there shouting misinformation are so many and they're so loud and they're so powerful that it seems like it's David versus Goliath at some point. But we mustn't uh, be deterred. It is important to send these messages out there. That Aiko was a highlight of my year to be part of, to enter that arena where I can be a better messenger for China, for the truth, for reality uh, in China, and in doing so, hopefully avoid a conflict that it's always around the corner and it's so upsetting for everybody. So there you go, Aiko. Thank you for your question, and I hope that um, you guys get to follow some of the work that I'm doing these days. So back to you in the studio.
Thank you, Fernando. So I guess you've both answered two questions because the next question is that for me is that I want to know that you guys are been creating content in this land whole year. I want to know what's your favorite project or report on this year about China and Chongqing. So I think Fernando has already answered this question about his career, about his most important project in this year as a content creator, as he said, a passenger, a messenger, a bridge between China in the world. Thank you, Fernando. And how about you? What about yours? My friend Alex here.
Yeah, hi. How are we doing?
Doing great.
Okay, good, good. Well, nice talk, Fernando. Very good. Very well said. You took some of the words right out of my mouth, but I'll make it pretty pretty clear here. Um, I would say my year at with the iChongqing team was rather interesting. Um, Producing 164 productions on the iChongqing channel and 104 productions on my personal channel. But today is a day that I want to celebrate with someone that I know takes live streaming to a new level, and that's you, Aiko. This goes out to you. I want to commend you for your hard work in the office here at iChongqing and the time and energy that you're putting into your live streams. You should also give yourself a round of applause because last night we blew past the 10,000 subscribers on iChongqing. We added about 500 subscribers last night from one of our videos here. And this is going to give us, all of us, a really good platform to get the message out internationally to everyone. And I think having you at the helm there in the studio with the productions that you do, and I know you put a lot of time and energy into these, and certainly a lot of other people do as well, but this one goes for you this year. I know this means a lot to you, and I wish you next year, 2023, that we can do some stuff together and bring that message to the international world, the very big misunderstanding about this country of 1.5 billion. That's what I have to say, and congratulations, and back to you.
Thank you, Alex. Thank you. I'm still gonna put you on the screen and to express my gratitude for your grading and your accomplishment for me. So you can still answer my second question is
Sure.
that your favorite project or what's your favorite project or report this year about Chongqing or China? Because you've been creating content in this land all the time. And I think it's actually, it's not the first year that you've been visit Chongqing, but
Mm.
now 2022 is the actually first year of your career here as a reporter.
Yeah.
We've watched all of your content. They are so fascinating and really really we can see you really are taking serious efforts on reporting stories and truth about this land. So I want to know, what's your favorite project or report this year?
It had to be the human cost with COVID, and that was a huge documentary that required a lot of patience and a lot of support from the management at iChongqing. And my thank you to all of you that allowed us to pull something like that off. That was put together by 35 content creators, business professionals, you name it, all across the world. It took us hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours of editing to put something like that together. But that will go down to be, I would say, one of the most emotional and hardworking legacy production that I've done to date. Much more to come for sure in 2023. But that one there, I mean, Fernando appeared in there as well. I mean, very emotional stories. Michela Ponte from Italy, his family lost a business. We had people that lost loved ones. Daniel Dumbros, powerful message. Cyrus Jansen was also part of this. I mean, an incredible community came together to make something like that. Yeah, to me that was a special one. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Alex. Thank you. We all know this documentary has concluded all of these efforts from many YouTubers and many content creators, and it was released on iChongqing's channel. Please watch that. Please watch that. Okay, I think it's really a great content project. Back to you, James. What about yours? What about yours? Your favorite part, favorite report this year?
This one is a an easy question for me to answer. Yeah, and thankfully I can hear you now for some reason, so I've sorted that problem out. Okay, so in March, in the early part of this year, I had a fantastic trip to the township of Miaotang, which is kind of in the distant mountains of Wushan County, and yeah, I went there with Zhang Deng and Xiaoyan, and had a really good time there. So if you go to this part, I mean, if I give you a little bit of a background, I'll try to be brief about it. So there was a community of about 2,000 people who had lived there for many generations, but they were extremely remote. You know, if you, I mean, I can't really show you any photos of it at the moment, but if you look back and if you look at the video reports, it's kind of like the bygone villages of Miaotang. So if you go there, I mean, the scenery there is absolutely stunning. I mean, they have these like vertical, karst mountains. But this community, the only way you could get there was about 30 or 40 kilometers over these gravel roads cut into the mountainside. And we actually went there ourselves. And there's quite, a heart-stopping journey because this road is only about 2.5 meters wide. And again, it's very gravelly. If you go there in bad weather, it's kind of like a 500 or 600 meter drop down to the valley below. Yeah. So when it came to the goal of poverty alleviation, so normally like I would say like the protocol has been to allow people to stay where they are and then kind of build infrastructure for them, improve their housing, resolve issues for them like education, running water, electricity, and for most places that's been achieved. But at the place of Miaotang, which is part of the Shenongjia Natural Heritage Reserve, it's so remote that even just to build the roads to get there would have cost about 200 million yuan, so like a really huge investment. So what they decided to do instead, after consultation with the villagers, they agreed to move out of Miaotang, and they were relocated into villages close to the county seat, and another part, another group, a few other groups of them also moved to Hubei province or next door into Wuxi County. Yeah, so we went there. We went to the old village where they used to live. Amazed actually to find there a Chinese cedar, which had stood there for about 1,200 years. So a lot of the surrounding village isn't really there anymore, but they've preserved this tree. So I know that was really amazing to see. And then also we travelled to a lot of the local villages, the former villages of Miaotang, and we kind of saw what they were doing now. Some of them have moved to the county seat, and they're running their own businesses, whether it be restaurants or vehicle repair shops. And we got to see their living conditions, and then we met their families as well. And it was really great to hear. I mean, a lot of them, well, I mean, they all told us they were all very willing to move away from Miaotang and create a new life for themselves in kind of more modern villages. Yeah, so if you go back, if our audience goes back and searches for that video, the bygone villages of Miaotang, for me that was really a major highlight of this year, definitely.
Thank you, James. Thank you for reminding us this beautiful story in Miaotang village. It was really a beautiful story and beautiful video there, produced by iChongqing's team, including Zhang Deng and James. And I can see there are comments greeting from everywhere in the world. And it's actually the first time I met James on this channel. Let me remind you, James is one of our greatest reporters, and he has been living in China for years, but he has been always holding the really best curiosities to report this city, to report news and stories, especially on those districts, suburban areas in Chongqing. Is really challenging and arduous because Chongqing is a big city. There are 38 districts in this city, and there are many people here, over 30 million population of this city. So there are many stories out there for us to explore. James has been always devoting his career into reporting this city for us. So you should be watching our show and watching our and reading our articles on iChongqing's website all the time to keep up with us. Okay. Okay. So here is the the end of this year, and we've been talking about this content on our channel and on Fernando's channel, and also on Alex's channel and iChongqing's channel. So I've collected those moments in Chongqing because 2022 has been a really difficult year for people in Chongqing. I think the most challenging part, besides the COVID, is the really extreme weather condition in the summer, that really extreme high temperature weather. It has something to do related to this global climate change and some other reasons. But let's just say it was really how to say this, really important moment for us to remember, because there are so many people that are paying their attention on this. No matter it's in China, in the world, everybody has been keep an eye on this and focusing on how we're going to handle it, how we're going to handle this, how we're going to fight with this high temperature weather, because it's not just happening in China, in Chongqing. It happened everywhere, some places in the world. And also it caused a fire disaster in Chongqing. And people in Chongqing presented a really brave brave attitude about this, really positive attitude, and they spend their energy, and they encouraged each other on fighting this fire disasters. We have some pictures, and we have a short documentary and many short videos reporting on this. We are showing you these pictures. These are the firefighters who work for us, devoting their lives to save lives, save the people's poverty on this. I think we can say this is one of the best pictures of news in Chongqing, and it's really great. And that's something that I wanted to issue on these topics about this year's news in Chongqing, because it's really important to aware of this supportive attitude in the society, among each other, among citizens in Chongqing. And besides, and outside the city, there are many people care about us, care about what happened in this corner. So I think it's really important to issue that. And I hope you guys can rewatch these shows and these content on iChongqing's channel about this fire disaster and how we fight with it. And it's really important for us. Also, we have pictures of this is how Chongqing people are spending their summertime this year, because it's so hot. It was so hot this year, and people are out there looking for places to cool ourselves down. And this is a picture of the end of this year, of how Chongqing people are going outside and enjoy our days while we are fighting the COVID there. This is really, really fantastic, because the city is returning back to this really, really, really beautiful side. Can see this. And also the city the drug industry, the medical industry is accelerating the speed, the production speed, to offer more medical support for Chongqing people to fight the COVID. This is really also important for us to know. So I think these are the content and news that I'm really concerned about this city, about what just happening right now for us. And I think that's all for the 2022. And let's talk about the new year, okay? I've been watching those videos on YouTube and Bilibili about sharing, about their sharing experience on how to make your New Year's resolution or plans or everything. I must say they are a little bit complicated for me because most of them tend to show you mastering this, this kind of stuff by using digital tools like Notion or other apps or websites. It's kind of difficult for me. So I couldn't help but wonder, is that your way of making your New Year's resolution, gentlemen? Or do you have your own way of planning on managing your time or energy and schedule, next year? Starting from Fernando.
Look, for me, it's about continuing this journey. I set out the goal of making videos as we go along, but that has proven to be very challenging. I mean, I have so much footage, and in between driving, planning our drives, and shooting and editing and then storing, it's been difficult to produce all the content that I want to produce. I've tried to find people to help me professionally, but it's very difficult to really translate properly your idea, your plan for a video. So it's something that I'm postponing for the end of the tour. I will sit down and put together all the material. I'll spend whatever amount of months in creating that video, and that will be the result of that. What we are planning to do are it's not much of a resolution, but our plan is to visit the western side of China. So we are starting here in Yunnan. We are anticipating it's a huge province, and it's actually quite mountainous, which is a challenging it's a challenge in its own right, because we are pulling our RV with an electric vehicle, which is something quite unique. In doing so, we depend a lot on charging stations, which in some areas that are not that developed are difficult to find. So it's it's our challenge to navigate these problems of moving around the western side of China, with our setup, with our RV and our car. We will be in Yunnan for about between 45 to 60 days. We are on our way to a place called, and my wife is going to kill me because she hates this pronunciation, Xishuangbanna.
Okay.
Oh no, she said it was
Nice place.
right.
Really,
So
really
we're gonna go
fantastic.
there. We're gonna be there for some time, and then we start going north in Yunnan. We're gonna end up in Kunming, and then we're gonna cross into Sichuan, and we're gonna be visiting you guys somewhere around early summer, perhaps, or late spring, and then we're gonna start a tour of Sichuan. After that, we'll make a decision as to how to get to Tibet, because there are certain restrictions for foreigners, like foreigners cannot actually drive through Tibet. If you want to visit Tibet, you actually have to go by train or by plane. So we need to figure out if that's a possibility. If that's not a possibility, we cannot drive, then we'll probably just store the RV somewhere and find out some friends that we know in the area that could take care of our dog and cats, and then we'll go to Tibet and do the shooting over there, because we want to cover every province of China. So from there, we will continue on to Xinjiang. Xinjiang is another place where we're going to spend a lot of time, probably more than a month. The infrastructure in Xinjiang for electric vehicles is actually a little bit better because there are quite a few highways, and in highways you find chargers that are more available. So that's going to be good for us. And Xinjiang in late summer can be can be difficult. The southern part extremely hot, the northern part a little bit cooler, but the scenery is so different. People have to remember that Xinjiang is the size of Europe almost. So it's a place that we need to spend a lot of time. After we finish the tour, then we start going towards the center of China. We visit Gansu, Inner Mongolia, and start coming down the center of China again towards the south to end the year in Hainan, very likely. Um, so that's our plan. We want to do it as effectively and efficiently as possible. So it's not much of a resolution, but it's a plan. It's what we want to do, what we want to accomplish. So I invite everybody to follow us, to keep an eye on our content. We're making now content that's a little bit different. It's just I find that there are many people making RV content in China, but they do it in Chinese and they do it for Chinese audiences. And there are a lot of people outside of the country doing RV live, but then again, outside of China. So I think that this is an opportunity to make RV content. What is it like to travel and live in an RV in China from a foreigner's perspective? I don't know if I'm the only one, but I haven't seen many people doing what I'm doing. Oh, what we are doing in China on social media, on YouTube or Twitter and things like that. So I think that there's a good opportunity for finding a niche right there. Um, Talking about the different products that are used, the different setups that we find along the way, the things that help us, the things that make our lives easier, or the things that give us trouble. I think that that will be interesting for people. So as a resolution, I would like to start putting more content that's not so difficult to edit. It's more easy to digest for people and easy to produce. So that's what I'm going to do. So yeah, Aiko and all of our audiences, thank you so much for listening to my project, my plan, and yeah, back to you.
Thanks, Fernando. I think it's really great aiming on something that is really specific with your related to your life. And I think somebody is asking because somebody is asking who is Fernando. I'm sorry, I didn't introduce him because we are so familiar with him. So I just forgot to, introduce this gentleman. He is a great content creator on YouTube, also on Chinese social media platforms. He produces content about Chinese politics, about those world class politics topics, and also traveling. You can say traveling vlogger, YouTuber, because right now he has been transforming his career into this really, really cool way of RV driving around China. But it was pulled by an EV. So it's really cool. I think he has been somebody like an icon for some YouTubers that he's not just reporting things based on what he read or what he just watched. He report those things based on his own experience on traveling all the places in China on his own feet. So we would always be appreciate to watch his content because they are really authentic and really how to say unique from really unique perspectives. So please just follow his channel on YouTube. It's Fermube and also another one. Are we there yet? They are really fascinating content. And get back to Alex about this, future plan next year. How do you gonna plan your future, this thing?
Let's see. Okay, so more content than last year, more in-depth content. I think we're going to do a lot more documentaries. We have a series called Chongqing Heroes Plan, ride-alongs with the police, ambulance, and firemen. That's the goal, as well as the reboot of Let's Talk China here on the 15th of January. What can I say? We're just going to continue to, and I hear what Fernando is saying about editing. Trust me, it's it's the first thing that comes to mind when I wake up in the morning is how are we going to edit all this stuff? But we managed to do it, and we do it with, a lot of passion. Um, On to the New Year's resolution. Just want to say tonight I will be pretty much in 3 or 4 locations. Hi there. Hi. I'll be in about 3 or 4 locations in Chongqing. I was here downtown area, the CBD last night. It was just booming downtown. Great to see. Haven't seen that type of euphoria in a long time, but last night it was rocking. So tonight I think I'll be in the Yubei area, Jiangbei area, and then the Yuzhong area, back and forth. There's a few parties going on here, some for the expat crowd and some for as well as the local Chinese that are celebrating it as well. Um, Once again, I just want to say to all those content creators out there like Fernando, keep up the excellent content as you've done in this previous years. Do not ever give up what you're doing. It's fantastic stuff. The video you just sent me the other day about your talk on COVID I was speechless watching that, Fernando. That's going to be it for me from this location, Aiko. I'm going to head out. I've got another commitment on a video I've got to do here shortly, but I just have to say thank you so much for putting this program together here on our New Year's, well, we'll call it New Year's Eve day. How does that sound? And so the people that can wake up in America, maybe even tomorrow morning, and rewatch this program should get them into the spirits. And don't forget, if you want to play a good song, use the O Lang Syne by Rod Stewart. What a great song to play on New Year's Eve. Anyway, that's it for me here, Aiko, at the IFS called The Rink here in Jiangbei. I really appreciate you giving me some time with your audience today. And to all the viewers out there, I wish you a very prosperous 2023. And let's have a really good ending to this year. And good days ahead, January 6th, borders open, no COVID quarantine. I look forward to seeing every single one of you guys in the comment box in this fantastic city. And hey, thanks again, James. Good to see you out in a fantastic part of the city. I wish I could time travel there and join you for a fabulous tea, but unfortunately, I've been skating for an hour, Canadian style. Anyway, Aiko, appreciate that. You could probably put me backstage now. I'm going to head out, but once again, well done production, Aiko. Thanks again, everyone.
Thank you, Alex, and I will relieve you. Okay, I will release you. And back to you, James. What's your plan? How do you gonna plan your New Year? Is that still an old school?
Okay, so like I said in the past, in my younger days, New Year's Eve, was a very high occasion. We go out with some friends, stay out until the early the morning, have a good party. Things have changed a little bit. So of course now I have 2 daughters in Chongqing, so I can't really do the same thing. So last year I talked about our experience with Alex. So with some of the iChongqing team, we went to Raffles and had a great party up there. I suppose tonight it's going to be a little bit quiet. Just going to have some family time at home, I think. So nothing really special. But as for the new year coming up, for me it's good, and I think for all of us at iChongqing and for our viewers, it's going to be like a year of infinite possibilities. Because we did see the question earlier that if you had one word for 2022, how would you describe it? And for me, it would be similar to 2021, and that would be challenging. So, of course, like I said, we've had to deal with a lot of major issues. Whether it's COVID lockdowns, whether it's droughts, whether it's boiling hot, summers. We had the forest fires as well. But for me, the most important thing is, you don't necessarily have to look upon challenges as a negative thing. Often, you really want to take that as inspiration to really kind of like make the best of the situation. But now looking forward, since things have like really opened up here in China, and I hope you can like see, around me as I've walked around Suchiko, the number of visitors here is like really picking up, and there are like people from out of town as well. So for me, 2023, I think the new word for that is just going to be infinite possibilities. And of course, I have some personal goals. I want to achieve. Of course, I'd love to improve my, some of my photography and editing skills, and maybe challenge Alex a little bit more on his channel. That would be really cool. But for me, something I really thrive on is, spontaneity. So even in the past 2 weeks since things have really opened up, I've already been to like so many amazing places. Like Echo, you were saying a little bit earlier. I mean, there are 38 districts and counties. We mentioned the case of Liaotang Township in Wushan, but really, whenever you go to any of the counties or districts, there are so many, amazing and inspiring stories there. So now things have opened up. I'm really hoping we're going to get more opportunities to go there, and bringing you some more amazing videos and great personal stories. Also, I'd just like to finish as well, and thank you, Echo, for those very kind words as well. Yeah, I think you've done an excellent job with the live streams. I've had the great fortune to do 1 or 2 interviews with Fernando this year. Yeah, and of course, it's been a pleasure working with Alex as well. So hopefully, we can learn more from each other as the next year progresses. And also, a quick shout out to Winter Sweet as well. So. If you say you haven't seen me much on iChongqing, I'm definitely on there. But I want to say a big thank you to you as well for your support of iChongqing. And I wish you and the whole team of iChongqing, Fernando, and all of our viewers a fantastic 2023. Yeah, I'm sure it's going to be a very prosperous year, going to be a lot happier than we have been in the past. And let's just see where the future takes us.
Thanks, James. Thanks for your introduction and your answers about your future plan 2023. It's really important to know everybody's goal for on this moment, because no matter you are aiming on something big or small, they're both fascinating because you never know what will happen tomorrow. And this year we can see, because it has been a long year, because of those huge events everywhere. So I think not everybody, most people, they are devoting more energies on finding the inner peace and rose this self-awareness to feel every moment of their lives. And I can saw comments and posts on the internet that people are expressing this kind of feelings and experiencing and learning skills, or even lectures and lessons for this knowledge and wisdom exchanges on the internet, on social media. I think it's really important, because about all the things that happening in the world, you still want to find this inner peace inside you, this power, the strength inside you to face the new challenges and changes and experience in the future, in the next year. I think that's the spirit of this year's lessons and inspirations. So I'm really grateful for having you guys, especially these YouTubers that has always been putting efforts and striving to create to create great content about this country and this city for us. And also I'm grateful for James's work all the year. James has been producing content this week in so many places in Wuxi County, in Fengdu County, and now he's returning back to downtown Chongqing and creating content for us. And I'm really grateful for that. It's really exhausted, I know that. And Alex is already off the screen, but I know he has been creating content all the time. Sometimes I wonder if he is a machine or a real human being. He has so many energy and passion about this career in Chongqing, and I'm really appreciate and admire for that. So does to Fernando and his content. So I'm really grateful for you guys, for gentlemen, to join me today for this conversation and showing the audience what's happening in your beautiful view in your current location. And also I'm grateful for all our friends this year. I'm gonna read your IDs: Ken, Han, Wintersweet, Choi, and I think there has been something that I've missed with WG and Ken. Hi, Ken. I can see Ken and Horn and many people, and Kevin. And I know there are so many names that I didn't mention this time, but I do remember your concerns about this country in our channel, in our content, and all your supportive attitude in your comments, heartwarming comments in our show, in every corner of our show on our social media platform. I'm really grateful for that. And I hope you guys will continue support to our channel. So please keep liking, sharing, and subscribing to our channel. And also follow us on Facebook, on Twitter, and on Instagram. This is Echo Chen. I will see you guys next year. And I wish you guys all have a happy new year. See ya.